Welcome to The Lazy Girl Library, the podcast where reading is a pleasure and captivating adventures happen from the comfort of your couch. I'm your host, Darby.
And I'm Michaela.
And if you've ever spent more time rearranging your bookshelf than your priorities, then you, my friend, are in the right place.
Hello, Darby.
Hi, Michaela.
Hi, listeners. Welcome back to our February podcast episode. Woo!
I love it. How's your February been?
My February has been chaotic and hectic and all over the place, but you know, we're surviving.
Yeah.
We've made it through. It's the end of the month. New page.
Yeah.
So, what about you?
Definitely busy. You said the other day, like, your mind's on Rainbow Road.
Yep.
Yeah, so I've been feeling like I've been taking some laps on there too, but it's been fun. I've been having fun on Rainbow Road while also, like, doing the toad scream. Do you know what I'm talking about? The toad from Mario that's like, so it's been fun.
Yeah, it's, for me at least, I feel like I'm on Rainbow Road playing the computer on like expert mode, being hit by so many bananas and shells that it's just insane. So I am happy for this race to be over. Speaking of our weeks, though, life check-in, let's say, what are your 5-star and 1-stars of the month? Since we did miss our first episode in February, that was my fault because of Rainbow Road.
No, you're so good. You're so good. Okay, so my 5-star, I'll start with this. My 5-star was my birthday month, and my parents and Justin and we went to Montana for a birthday trip, which is like craziest birthday trip ever. I felt so spoiled. Like, that's not something normal for me or for our family to like do like a big fun trip like that. Because we live on the East Coast, for our listeners who may not know, so that's just kind of a trek. But we got to go snowboarding and stuff, and the snow was beautiful, and it was just so great. And I got a chance to like do some reading because this is a really busy season for me at work. So, like we've been saying, Rainbow Road, we haven't had much time to have any pit stops, so it was nice. My 1-star, I don't know what my 1-star is, which I guess is a good thing.
That is a good thing.
I don't know. Okay, actually, I know what my 1-star is, but it's like a future 1-star. Okay. I'm still going to say it. My therapist is pregnant, and that's amazing, but she's going to be gone during, like, the time I need her most.
No, that's so sad.
But, no, I'm super excited for her. But I guess that's my 1-star. But again, I mean, I'm feeling fine, and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bit of a bummer for me, not for her.
Yeah.
She's bringing life into the world, which is so exciting.
Exciting, but at the same time, like, no.
But my life will deteriorate.
Happy for you, sad for me.
Yeah. But that's me. What about you?
My 5-star, on the positive note, my wedding shoes came in. I've been obsessing over them.
So gorgeous.
Thank you. Yes, I texted Darby when they came in, and I just showed Darby when she came over to record this podcast because I love them. I'm obsessed. They fit perfectly. They're exactly what I was looking for. Obsessed.
They're so, like, elegant, feminine, detailed, like, just so pretty.
Yeah, it's the details for me. I'm such a details person, as I talk about all the time. So it's the little things on it that I'm like,
and like versatile.
Obsessed. So,
unfortunately, we can't share pictures out right now,
no,
but
later.
Come back in July. We'll do a full wedding recap.
Yeah, so that's definitely my 5-star for the month. My 1-star is really difficult because I feel like there's so many. Where do I begin? This month is just
you
been
took
crazy.
all my 1-stars. I'm just kidding.
Oh gosh. Oh no, my 1-star for the month was one of the shelves in my closet collapsed in like early morning hours in the middle of the month, and the way that it fell like jammed the door, so I could not get into my closet at all.
That's
like
crazy.
It locked me out. And so I live in an apartment complex, and so I had to put in like a work order for them, but it took them a few days to come in, and so I didn't have.
Do you have a dresser?
I do. So luckily I had access to clothes still, but it was like shorts and t-shirts. And then,
like comfy clothes?
Yes. All my underwear is in my closet though, so I had to go buy new underwear.
Oh my gosh.
And I couldn't access any of my shoes. Luckily I had a pair of like slides like in the living room, so I at least had something. But yeah. Going to work was not an option that week.
That's so funny. But also, maybe this is a 5-star because then it just forces you to shop. You know?
I mean, that's true.
Like, woe is me, must buy new clothes.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. That's hard.
It was. It did turn into like a good thing because then once they were finally able to open my door, I had to pull everything out, so it forced me into early spring cleaning mode to get rid of a bunch of stuff. So now, like, that's all taken care of. My closet is looking much nicer than it started out with. So positive end to the negative start. But yeah, that was not a fun time.
No, that does sound tough. But a closet clean out is so nice. It's so needed. Until then, like a couple months later, you're like, where's that shirt? And you're like, oh, I gave it away.
Yep. Again, it's honestly one of those that can go either way because it's like on one hand, you're like, I don't know, really sad or like body conscious because like I don't fit in these and it makes you really depressed. But at the same time, there's something really therapeutic about just like getting rid of all the old, especially because a lot of that stuff is like things that it's not really like my style anymore anyway. So it leaves room for like growth and like new things that are like your style now.
I agree. So. But then I never replace it. That's what happens. I don't replenish it. Like I'll get rid of stuff and slowly my closet just keeps getting smaller. But we'll get there.
Yeah.
Anyway, those were our 5 stars and 1 stars. Today, in this episode, we're going to be talking about our thoughts on the book Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. So this will be a nice book talk. We'll answer some book club-esque questions about the book, give our final ratings. And
if you already might know some of our thoughts on this book if you're part of our Fable book club.
Yeah.
If you're not, you should definitely join us, Lazy Curl Library on Fable. We just posted our new book club book pick, so you'll get to see that a little early if you're already on there. If not, you'll find out at the end of the episode what it is. But it's such a cool time to get to like talk about the book early and like see everybody's thoughts as you're like reading it in the different chapters and everything. So definitely join us there. We'd love to connect.
Yeah, that would be so fun. And before we completely dive into this romance book, let's talk about our life romance in February, Valentine's Day.
Yes.
How did you celebrate with Josh, your fiance?
Josh, he's such a romantic too. I say that, but we don't actually celebrate Valentine's Day, but for good reason. Our anniversary is February 3rd, so it's kind of like too quick a turnaround to try to do both. So we just mutually
like
agree.
A joint one or something.
Yeah, we just do like a big, like anniversary kind of celebration.
Cute.
So Valentine's Day, we actually didn't do anything, but for our anniversary, we did a little mini staycation, and we went to the parks, Disney parks, and we got a hotel on property. So that way, living close by, we were just constantly driving to it. So it was nice to be able to like, use the Disney like transportation that's there. We have to go drink around the world together, which we haven't done, which is fun.
What hotel did you stay at?
The Swan.
Okay, that's a fun one.
It was nice. And so even our room got upgraded, so we were able to watch like the Epcot fireworks from our balcony. So it's just like a really nice. We got like room service and everything. It was a really, really nice time.
Oh, I love that.
So,
that's cute.
That's fun. What about you?
Well, I was in Montana for Valentine's Day because Justin also has it rough. My birthday is 2 days after Valentine's Day. So we were in Montana, and it was actually really sweet because we like celebrated with my parents. Like it was like a little double date kind of thing. So we just kind of spent the day. Justin and I spent the day snowboarding, I think. Wait, was Valentine's Day on a Friday? Okay, no, we weren't snowboarding. So my parents and Justin and I, we spent the day just looking at some of the shops. So we just kind of perused some things. My mom ended up like buying us this cute like traveling book type thing, or like bucket list travel book thing.
Cute.
Which was nice. My dad bought a cowboy hat, which was funny.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
He's not necessarily a cowboy kind of guy. And yeah, so we just like hung out, did some shopping, had some light bites, and then for dinner, I wanted to cook for my parents to thank them, but they ended up cooking dinner for Valentine's Day, so we had like potatoes, broccoli, and steak. But it was funny because the grill was under snow, so we couldn't grill the steaks.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, my parents wanted to like broil the steaks. They were not great. But they tried. So it was so cute. I actually kind of enjoyed the steaks, which I shouldn't have because they were not good steaks.
Yeah.
But it was just really funny and really sweet because as you get older, you don't get to spend a lot of those like times with your parents. And I don't know about you, but my parents were always like, growing up, they would get me Valentines and like be my Valentine, and so it's just sweet and cute. And they made me a card, and I made them a card, and I liked it.
That's so cute.
Yeah. And then we have some lightning round Valentine's Day questions. So you guys can comment on this podcast or message us on Instagram and let us know your thoughts on which you prefer on these Valentine's Day lightning rounds, starting with chocolate or flowers.
So tough.
This is a tough one.
I'm going chocolate.
I'm going to go flowers.
There's no wrong answer.
Yeah, no wrong answer. But I think I'm going flowers because, like, I can buy myself chocolate anytime, but, like, when a boy brings you flowers, it's just like... Oh.
See, I'm the opposite in the way like I can get flowers anytime, but like specifically like the Valentine's chocolates, you can only get around Valentine's Day.
That's true. That's true.
So,
all right.
Love at first sight or slow burn?
This is definitely not love at first sight, but I like infatuation. Like they need to like catch my eye, but I think. If you're going off of Justin and I, that was a slow burn.
For me, ironically, Josh and I were like a love at first sight.
Yeah.
But I much prefer reading a slow burn.
Yeah. Reading, definitely slow burn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Handwritten love letter or mixtape / playlist?
Both of these are phenomenal options, but I think I'm going to go with playlist.
Okay.
Because I feel like, at least for me, when somebody like provides you a playlist, you get to like listening to the songs. It's like, wow, they were thinking about me whenever they hear this song, or like, I don't know, it's like the thought of like putting it all together. I do love a handwritten note because then you get to hear people's thoughts, but something about just like the playlist and like the thought behind every pick that they have to put together for you. And now, like anytime you hear that song or they hear that song, they're thinking of you.
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
That's cute. I feel like in theory, like for me, the playlist is like, oh, that's cool, but I much prefer like a love letter. Because for me, the playlist is like, they were thinking about me, but like what part of the song made them think about me, where it's like a handwritten love letter is they're telling me exactly how they feel. And Justin's not like a super vocal person, but he writes the sweetest love letters. And I'm like, I didn't even know you felt this way.
That's so
they're
cute.
so perfect. So I'm going handwritten love letter all day.
Aw, love that. Enemies to lovers, friends to lovers, or second chance romance?
Okay. In real life, friends to lovers. In book world, I'll rank them. So enemies to lovers is first, then friends to lovers, and then second chance romance isn't even on the list. I cannot stand a second chance romance.
Exact same for both real life and books. Same.
Yeah.
No notes.
Okay, what fictional setting would be the most romantic place to spend Valentine's Day?
Valaris, specifically Starfall.
That's
that
good.
would be like up on the balcony when they're and have all the stars and like the shooting stars going by. Yes, that would be mine. What about you?
Good. I have no idea. Honestly, a ball. Any fictional ball. That's just like not a thing, especially in the U.S. Like balls are not a thing. There are galas. Those I know very well.
But it's not even the same.
Balls are so different, you know? So...
That pops up on my TikTok occasionally of like cotillions or things like that, or like other countries that have like actual balls. Like, wow, what a world. I would love.
Crazy. Okay, on our bucket list, a Lazy Girl Library bucket list, go to a ball together, an international ball. Oh my gosh, yeah.
So
let's
fun.
do it. Let's do it.
Yep. Live out my Bridgerton dreams.
Yes. Okay, but let's go into another romance. Hallie and Julian's romance.
Reading recap time. Let's get to it.
All right. You want to take it away?
Real quick, just so for our listeners, our reading recap is where we go through the entire book, just like main plot points, very high level summary. So that way, if you haven't read the book, but you still want to listen to the podcast, you have an idea of what we're talking about, but it does contain spoilers.
Warning, book spoilers ahead. Please head to the description and show notes to find where to skip to. You have been warned.
Let's get into it. Hallie Welch, a spirited and somewhat chaotic gardener in Napa Valley, has harbored a crush on Julian Voss since they were teenagers. At 14, she experienced an almost kiss with Julian in the vineyards of his family's winery, a moment that left a lasting impression.
Years later, Julian returns to his family's estate on a sabbatical from his position at Stanford as a Stanford professor. His goal is to write a novel, adhering to his meticulously structured routine to manage his anxiety and maintain control over his life.
Fate intertwines their paths when Hallie is hired to revamp the gardens on the Voss estate. Her free-spirited and spontaneous nature contrasts sharply with Julian's disciplined lifestyle. Despite differences, an undeniable attraction simmers between them.
And then on one evening, after indulging in wine, Hallie impulsively pens as an anonymous love letter to Julian, signing it as secretly yours. She slips the letter onto a tree stump along his running path, not anticipating the impact it would have. And in fact, the first letter, she was like pretty drunk, so she didn't even remember completing it.
Mm-hmm.
And Julian, on the other hand, is both intrigued and unsettled by the mysterious note, leading him to ponder the identity of his secret admirer.
He's also feeling conflicted because he has such strong feelings for Hallie, but he's still curious about this secret admirer. Mm-hmm. As Hallie continues her work on the estate, she and Julian engage in a series of interactions that oscillate between tension and flirtation. Julian finds himself drawn to Hallie's vibrant energy, which begins to disrupt his carefully maintained order.
Meanwhile, Hallie is grappling with her lingering feelings for Julian as well as the fear of revealing her identity as the letter's author. Her internal conflict intensifies as their connection deepens, and she worries about the potential repercussions of her confession.
Julian's curiosity about his secret admirer grows, and he starts to see beyond Hallie's chaotic exterior, recognizing the depth of her character. Their relationship evolves, leading to moments of vulnerability and passion.
However, the truth about the letters eventually surfaces, leading to misunderstandings and emotional turmoil. Both Hallie and Julian must confront their insecurities and past traumas to find common ground.
In the end, they acknowledge their love for each other, embracing the blend of order and spontaneity that defines their relationship. Together, they embark on a journey of mutual growth, understanding, and acceptance.
The end.
And they lived happily ever after.
K-I-S-S-I-N-G. What were your initial thoughts, Mike?
Well, I'd say the book met my expectations, going into it, but my expectations were that it was going to be mid.
I knew you had those expectations going into it.
I've talked about this many a times. I am a person that judges a book by its cover, and I avoid any romance or any kind of book that has the cartoon people covers. I'm sure that there are a lot of great ones out there that I'm missing out on. This one has yet to prove me wrong, though. The author, I felt just had a lot of ideas and had a hard time connecting them all, which made the story kind of fall flat for me.
I can totally agree with that.
Yeah. And it was somehow extremely rushed, but also painstakingly slow at the same time.
I can also really agree with that.
I really enjoyed the concept of it. I just wish that it was more fine-tuned and had more of a clear direction, I feel.
Yeah.
So, what about you?
I feel pretty similarly to you. It was just an average romance book, but I think I liked it probably a little more than you did. I definitely didn't love it, but I think I was able to go into it with kind of a I'm turning my brain off type of book. So it's not like I was expecting to feel like deep emotions. But there were definitely places, like concepts that didn't need to be in this book, or themes that just were too exaggerated for my liking.
It's just like too much, and that shouldn't really get to like dive into any of the specifics that you would have wanted.
But it wasn't like bad.
No, I don't think it was bad.
Because we have read some books on here that I finished
this one, and that says a lot. So.
Yeah. What was your favorite part?
I really enjoyed Hallie in this book, which surprised me, because normally, like, the female main character, FMC...
can be so annoying.
Absolutely, especially... And I always prefer, like, the male's POV to the female's point of view. But in this book specifically, it was reversed for me. I really enjoyed Hallie. I found her really relatable, and I enjoyed the writing more for her and from her perspective than I did for Julian. And I especially loved the beginning, like, third of the book, when we're really exploring her crush for Julian before, like, really diving deeper into that kind of relationship, because it gave me very, like, nostalgic, like, high school vibes. Like,
and, like, setting up the town, too.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just, like, it was really cutesy and, like, kind of made me feel, like, girly, giggly, kind of. Yeah. I liked that part. What about you?
I definitely liked Hallie as a character and her personality. I feel the same way as you. The setting and the small town feel made me feel good. I am from, like, a small town, and there really is just, like, something different about it. And so just reading about that was, like, cute, and I just felt like, oh, like, the lady who owned the winery, I just, like, felt for her, and I was like, oh, I want to be her friend. I will go there. Like, why aren't more people going? It was cute. And then I also really liked Natalie. For some reason, Julian's sister, I feel like she was the most, like, normal
I get that.
and, like, real. Just because, well, we didn't hear her inner monologue, but she just felt kind of like, what? Like, you know, like, what is happening here?
Like the voice of reason, kind of.
Yes. So I really liked her a lot.
Yeah, she was cool, too. What about a least favorite part? What didn't you like?
I think the fact that their relationship felt more like lust than actual feelings for me. So it was very much like Julian didn't remember her, yet was in love with her.
Yep, totally get that.
So it just felt more like lust and infatuation than actually, like, what was happening, because the feelings and, like, actual discussions they were having was with a secret admirer, which was her. He was connecting, like, on that level, but then like, when they were in person, it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
And then one of my notes is what you kind of already said, is that the writing felt rushed and slow at the same time. So just the pacing of it was strange to me.
Very.
What about you? What are your thoughts?
So I started writing out my thoughts, and I realized I was being specific, but I think my least favorite part was just Julian.
Yeah.
To be honest. It was very, like, instant love vibe from his POV.
Oh my gosh, so instant love.
Like, and that is a trope I run from. I can't stand an instant love.
Because it's like if you think about it in real life, an instant love is creepy.
I wish I could say the same, but, like, having experienced that, I'm like, I get it. Well, so I can't even say it's unrealistic, but it is unrealistic at the same time. I don't know.
But I'm talking about, like, you can have an instant, like, let me rephrase, like I went on one date with a guy in college, and later that day he was texting me and was like, I feel like I can tell you anything. You remind me of the sun. And I'm like, too much, too fast. Like, that to me, I'm like, no. Like, that's too much. Like, I'm not that cool. You don't know me that well. Like, what? So,
I feel like I'm so opposite.
No, that's good.
You're totally valid.
Because there's someone out there for that guy. Yeah. Like, you know?
You are absolutely totally valid, and I have all those feelings up until I met Josh, and then Josh just kind of, like, changed my perspective on that, and our relationship was
you guys were instant, like... Yeah. When did you know you were going to marry him?
First date. I have the text to prove.
Okay, that's crazy.
So that's what I'm saying is, like, as much as, like, I, like, with every fiber of my being, I believe and understand totally wholeheartedly what you're saying, and, like, I hate reading it. I also feel like a hypocrite saying that because I can't say it's unrealistic because it was realistic for me.
Okay.
So if I take myself out of that situation, though, like, I 100% completely agree.
Yeah.
And I can't read about it. It did feel very, like, unrealistic. It was just weird. And it was the lust part of it.
Yeah. It wasn't just instant love, but instant lust.
And, like, there's all of a sudden, I didn't like the way that the author portrayed him wanting to make Hallie happy. Because it was like an instant, like, I have to see her smile. She has to be happy all the time. And there's a way to do it that's, like, more romantic.
And less creepy.
But the way that it was written was it kind of, like, took away the depth of Hallie. And Hallie being such a good character in this book for me, I think that it kind of, from Julian's perspective, it made her seem very flat.
Yeah.
Or like he was viewing her very flat, which wasn't fair. I was like, kind of like, Hallie deserves better than to be just like happy all the time. Like she has, depth to her. So I didn't like that. And I just felt like there was like a better way to like write it. And I also did not understand nor like the big gesture at the end that he did, like the big romantic gesture to like make her feel better, where everybody's wearing all the crazy necklaces because that's what Hallie does. And he's like, plant these flowers anywhere in the vineyard that you want. I'm like, no, that's weird. I don't like that. That came out of nowhere. It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Like, no.
And also, like, you have things to talk about. Like, you guys haven't talked in 2 weeks.
You're bizarre.
Like, you're just gonna pretend like you guys aren't in an awkward, like, haven't talked, like...
Well, and your big romantic gesture was to bring half the town. So your big romantic gesture... No way!
No. And you could bring, like, the important people from the town, but, like, her guy friend that, like, likes her?
Yeah.
It was so strange.
Bizarre. Didn't like it. So all to say, I don't think I cared for Julian all that much. So...
That's funny. Julian and Hallie have wildly different personalities, structured versus chaotic. Which one do you relate more?
Oh, well, I didn't like Julian, but I am Julian.
I think you're a toned down version. I don't think you are as crazy as Julian.
I definitely, like, as much as I could relate to some things with Hallie, like, I think I related more to Hallie and how she was feeling versus, like, who she is in her chaotic personality.
Yeah.
I definitely related more to Julian in that aspect, and his need for structure to help, like, control the chaos of his mind. I'm very much that type of person. Yes. So, shocker to everybody, that would be me. What about you?
I guess another shocker. I definitely lean more chaotic. And I have thought this before, and big knock on wood right now, but I always say I am not a prime suspect for serial killers because I'm never doing the same thing. Like, I don't have a routine. Like, I could go run on a route or on a trail and never run it again.
Can't relate.
or if I do something like that I like to go do, again, it is not like weekly or daily because that just can't, things come up. Like, it's just not going to happen for me. So that makes me feel good and safer in life because I'm like, I don't even know what's happening next. So it'd be hard for other people to track me.
That is good.
Yeah.
I am the opposite.
Yeah.
You could find me on the same thing, same place for lunch, same order, same time.
No.
Every day.
Different orders for me too. So like Chick-fil-A, I get something different almost every time from there.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've had
for me,
a lot of the menu.
It depends on the restaurant. Like I am when I go to Starbucks, I get something it's completely dependent on my mood versus like if I'm going to my typical lunch spot for work, I get the exact same thing every single time.
Yeah, for me, if it's like a sit-down restaurant, I'm normally getting like the same thing. Like Chewy's, like I'm gonna get the same soft tacos every time. But like Chipotle, like I'll change up the rice, I'll change up the meat. Like I won't add some of the toppings. Or sometimes I'll do all the toppings.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that one's more like a mood thing.
Yeah. Depends, I think, for me. But most of the time, same place, same time.
The only time that I'm like, I really like structure is when I'm doing something for someone else so that I can have expectations. That way I can like meet and exceed them. And obviously like in work, like having that structure, but then the chaotic side of me needs like the autonomy of like, okay, like now let me get it done like the way that I like can do it. I think is how I relate to structure. And then also I used to not be as well, but I've really been using a Google Calendar, and our girl Shelby, she's a structured girl.
Yep.
That's our friend. She's crazy on Google Calendar in a good way. But I've been starting to dip my toes into Google Calendar and just putting dates out there so that because I often am a double booker. Because I'm like, no, I'm not doing anything. I'm like, I'm doing something. And so that has been helping me too.
That's
to
good.
Be a little less chaotic in life.
Yeah. I am definitely not on Shelby's level.
She's like color-coded. And when we say the whole month is booked up, like
every day is like...
Every day.
She has it like hour by hour. And I do day by day. I do say, like, I love Google Calendar, but I use it very, like, rudimentary. I do have it kind of color-coded, so, like, if I have, like, I have friends' birthdays as, like, a certain color, and then I have, like, my things a certain color, Josh's things a certain color, and things we're doing together a certain color. But I don't use it as, like, a daily planner, if that makes sense. It's more of, like, a check-in, so I don't double book, and, like, I can see the bigger picture of, like, what's going on in a month. So when people are asking to hang out, I can know, like, oh, I'm actually going to be gone that weekend, or I already have something, or I'm free, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I'm not using it every day, but it's more just like the dates.
The generics, yeah.
And Justin's and mine are connected, and so sometimes I think it pulls it from like your Gmail too, like when you get like an appointment notification, and that's really nice because Justin's not putting anything in there. I'll know like when things are happening because he's gonna tell me like the day before, and I'm like, no, I know already. I saw it on the calendar. So that's good. Anxiety plays a big role in Julian's character arc. How did you feel about the way that Tessa Bailey handled his mental health journey?
Again, I thought it was kind of mid. I appreciated the effort. I think that she thought she slayed this. And I appreciate the way that she tried to tackle it. Yeah. And I think that she was almost there. She could have handled it better. But I don't think that she was trying to be like, I don't know. I know that this book and like the few Goodreads things that I saw like got a lot of hate in how she handled it. And I don't think that it was that horrible. Because I think the key word is that I noticed the effort. Yeah. I feel like instead of just being like throwing it in there, throw in there. But like especially like the way she wrote about Julian's like anxiety attacks and how you don't have to deal with them alone. I can appreciate, but the messaging just fell flat because it came across more like, we can do anything with the power of like the people that love us, and like anxiety just like goes away at that point, which is not not the case. Yeah. So that's where it kind of like for me. What about you?
Well, I couldn't really like relate to it, so it was just hard to almost like judge it because it just felt for me like too extreme. And again, I don't know if that's because I've been like lucky to not have like a terrible amount of anxiety or like panic. I don't know if I've ever had a panic attack, like a bat. Like I've definitely panicked before, and I definitely have had anxiety, but I don't think I've ever had like attacks of it. Right. So it was just kind of hard to relate to the character. But I do think it was just like you said, there was effort there. It could have been done better. Yeah.
Because I think like for me with like the panic attacks, like it wasn't him talking about it, because I do think that they can be serious the way that he was talking, but then all of a sudden to have like the grand reveal at the end of it being like he only has panic attacks when the people he loves are in danger, like that part made it so unserious from like what it actually could have been serious. And I think that's where people have a hard time, and that was the problem I had with it, I think.
And because if it was something so extreme as like locking yourself in your room for 2 weeks, like to then say it's because of those people, exactly. That's when it feels like kind of disingenuous, kind of hurtful for them, the people. Because I have plenty of friends and family members who definitely struggle with anxiety, and so it can be serious for sure. But I don't know. It's hard because it's like a fictional book, so it's like she doesn't have to, like, this isn't a mental health book. But if you're going to make that one of the big topics, it's got to be kind of realistic.
Yeah. No, I agree. She probably should have done a little bit more research on how to better tackle that. But I do appreciate at least her talking about it.
Oh, totally.
Instead of, like, I don't know, skimming over it or just kind of, like, half-fassing it in a way. Yeah. Yeah. But switching over to Hallie, she struggles with feeling directionless in this book. Do you think her character arc had a satisfying resolution?
Okay, I totally related to Hallie a lot more. Fun fact, in like 9th grade, what was it? It wasn't Reddit, but it was some sort of like Discord place to like put questions and stuff. And in 9th grade, I wrote on there and I was like, I'm 14, I don't know my purpose and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And everyone knows what they want to do for a job and I have no idea what I want to do for a job. And then all these like 30-year-old women are like, which I'm almost a 30-year-old woman. So saying that was really weird.
Wild.
But at the time, all these like millennials and older people were like, you don't need to know right now. But so I can definitely relate to like the directionless, like not knowing what I'm supposed to do or what's best. So again, they're kind of like opposite spectrums. Like I feel like Tessa Bailey like handled hers a lot better.
Absolutely.
And it was like satisfactory. I was satisfied with how she did it, but I do think it like tied up pretty quick. I feel like the ending, again, it was like long but rushed at the same time. Yep. So, and also it just felt like there were a lot of like mini conflicts or themes. And so it's like Hallie was tied to her grandmother and had this weird thing with her mom, but she's also tied to the store owner, but that's because of the grandma. And then she's tied to the library, but that's because of the grandma. But somehow the grandma's not coming through with all of this. It's all the other things that are feeling like the heaviness. Right. And then she's the secret admirer letters weighing on her. And it just was like, well, yeah, you're going in so many directions.
And she has the chaotic life, but then she's trying to find structure, but she can't do that without her grandma. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was like good, but
I get that.
It was fine.
I had the same thoughts. Yeah, I totally related to Hallie and her directionless feeling. I feel like we talk about this all the time too. We joke about like we were not meant to be corporate girlies. We were meant to be stay-at-home moms. I'm meant to be a trophy wife. Like, absolutely.
No. I want to be a trophy wife.
But I think, like, on the serious note of that, I think it plays into, it's such a trend for people and, like, girl boss and, like, having that direction of, like, if it's not what you're doing for work, then it's, like, a side hustle or even, like, a passion project of some sorts that I just can't relate to. I don't have that, which can then leave you feeling like stranded in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
And like, what am I doing?
Which even like this podcast, for sure, passion project. We did one episode this month.
Yeah,
like we see even then it's like I can't do it.
It's very It's like it's like I'm missing. It's not even like the passion. It's the drive. I feel like that I'm missing. I'm missing that like that external drive that or the internal drive that people feel and like the self-motivation to like want to do these things. I just don't have that, or at least I haven't found something that makes me feel that way. So I totally related to Hallie in that way. And I was really satisfied with her ending more so than Julian's or them combined, because I feel like it was more realistic. It was, she didn't fix everything, but she was on the path of like moving on, like trying and like discover, like she didn't finish the library garden, but she at least attempted to like try to sketch out a plan and then allowed herself the like grace to change things or whatever. And it was like,
but I didn't like though how she like had started the conversations with the librarian and then like kind of went AWOL for a little bit. It's like if you said you were committing to do this, then like
you should do it.
You got to do it.
Yeah,
that was my only thing there that I was like,
that's
I
true.
Like that.
I was starting to skim towards the end, so I probably just didn't pick up on that part.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I was pretty satisfied with that. I related. Hallie for the win.
Go Hallie.
Back to Julian, though. Julian's structured personality leads to some swoon-worthy moments. Do you find discipline and routine attractive in a love interest, or do you prefer more spontaneity?
Where were the swoon-worthy moments? I'm just kidding.
Honestly, I think for me, at least, was seeing him when he was like taking charge with like the kids at the winery and was like, all right, we're gonna get this all taken care of, or like when he just like took charge all of a sudden, you're like, oh, thank you.
That's kind of what my thought was. Is it's not necessarily like discipline and routine, but it's like the confidence and like the decision making, because I'm so like indecisive and chaotically brained. It's nice when I don't have to decide something, because it's going to take me so long to figure it out. Like, I don't know. So I think the confidence. And then I do like a routine when it includes me in it.
I get that.
When I'm involved in the routine. But then the spontaneity, like, I also like adventure. But also it can be a pre-planned adventure. So I don't know. I think I'm easily satisfied.
Yeah.
But,
it's the effort.
Yeah, literally.
I get that. I'm kind of somewhere in between. When I was younger, I definitely would have preferred like the discipline routine part of it, and like the confidence, kind of like you said. I guess if we're really more in that way, because I'm more like a Julian, so I already have the structure. That's kind of what I leaned towards, and like building it with me, or like you said, like opposite. It's not necessarily the chaos in the brain. It's like I have so many things that I'm taking care of, so it's nice to have somebody just take that off my plate. But I am a particular person, so sometimes I have control issues. Okay,
yes, I say that, and it's like the spontaneity, but I think I like pre-planned spontaneity, because it's like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know if I want to do this. Like,
but I will say, ever since meeting Josh, he's much more spontaneous, and we struggled a little bit in the beginning because he'd throw me off all the time and be like, "What do you mean we're dropping everything? You want to go to like Disney right now?" Like, I wasn't prepared. I didn't have planned. Like, it kind of would throw me off. But I think that's something that I've grown a lot as a person with, kind of like Julian.
Yeah.
To like accept a little bit more that I'm not so set in my routines, because it is good to break out of that and not have the same thing for lunch at the same time every single day.
Yeah.
And to like break that up a little bit. So
come over to my house for lunch.
Yeah. So he kind of helps with that, and like finding ways to be spontaneous without throwing off my entire system and throwing me into chaos as well. So it's kind of the balance between the two.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's good. If you could send a secretly yours style love letter to any fictional character, who would it be?
Rysand from Avatar.
Amen.
It's such a basic answer, but it's the right answer. How she didn't
say Rysand.
He will forever be Rysand to me. I'm sorry. I know that I technically am pronouncing it wrong, but I cannot bring myself to say Reese or Rysand. It just makes me think of Reese's Pieces, and then
or Reese Witherspoon
throws off the vibes for me. So he is Rysand to me. And that man made me feel things that no other fictional man has ever made me feel before.
Say it again for the people in the back.
Forever obsessed with him. He would be mine. I would definitely write him secret admirer letters.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, yeah, I would definitely write him secret admirer letters, but in an effort to be different, Zayden Ryerson, and I'm not signing it secretly yours. I am signing my name in big bold letters so he knows who to find.
I love that.
Please note, I'm saying this before reading Onyx Storm, so who knows how I'll feel afterwards, but yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that one. All right, so kind of wrapping this up a little bit, would you read another book by this author?
So even though I didn't love this book, I'm actually listening on audiobook to this is not like a duology, but there's like a spin-off. This one is about Julian's sister.
I was waiting until later to suggest that when you said that you really liked her.
Yes,
I think the second one's about that.
Yeah, so I'm listening to it now. I'm still not loving it. I feel like I liked his sister more in the first book than now. But I just was too lazy to look for another romance author, because I'm really big into romance audiobooks. But if you've listened to the podcast for a while, you know that my girls are Emily Henry and Abby Jimenez, but I've finished those already. And the reason why I wanted to read this book this month and why I picked it out as my birthday month pick is because I read somewhere that Tessa Bailey was supposed to be similar to Emily Henry and Abby Jimenez. She is not, which that's okay, but I'm just feeling a little lazy in trying to do a search again of another romance author. So if you have recommendations, please leave them in a review in the chat, DM us. Please tell me. I want to know.
Looking for good ones.
Yeah, but so long-winded. Yes, I would read another one because I am.
Nice.
What about you?
Never say never, but probably not. these types of romances, I don't want to say that I'm not a fan of them. I'm just very particular about them. And this one was just not it for me. So the only way I feel like I would is if she writes one that like becomes viral, everybody's obsessed, you tell me is phenomenal, I have to try it, then I'll probably give it another shot. But for now, my bias against cartoon cover romances stands. So
Yeah, I get that. I think for me, I can definitely turn my brain off to this, and it's just like nice to have noise in the background sometimes. So that's why I like audiobook. I think it's kind of working, but
I definitely can appreciate it because like the Dreamland series, which I know you didn't like.
Yeah, at least not audio. Maybe I need to read that one, but I hated the audio. Hate's a strong word. I didn't hate. I just did not get on with the audio mail for that. It was so like gravelly, like I can't even make my voice do the voice. Like
cringe.
Yeah,
I can't do any audio, so I can't even. I'll relate with you there, but at least I read the books, and those are very much just like turn your brain off, silly
alpha male.
Yeah,
but also there's a way to do that. That's like
nice. And I
Zayden
love them.
and Rhysand are alpha males. They just do it better.
So I'm not against romance books, but there's I just have standards, and this one didn't meet it. So, but what about your final thoughts and star ratings?
3 stars. For me, it was too much smut, not enough banter. Which again, smut is not that smut's bad, but this just like it felt like there was more lust and more smut than story. And the story that we did have was like paced weird. So I feel like setting great, like put like the character potential great, writing not as great, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, just kind of average, but I did like it. Like I wasn't like, oh, I have to finish this book. I was like, oh, what's gonna happen, you know? Yeah, just kind of average for me. 3. What about you?
I did 2 stars for me just because it really wasn't my cup of tea, but I didn't hate it. Like I did find parts of it that I enjoyed, and I think it had a lot more potential. The elements were there that I liked. It was just too all over the place to really nail it down, and so therefore it lost me. Too much going on, not enough direction. Plus the instant love was like a hard pass. Hard pass. Yeah. So 2 stars for me.
Even though you are instant love.
I know, the irony of it all, right? I'm such a hypocrite.
No. I'm the same way. We can both be hypocrites together.
Okay.
But that was our February book talk book.
Now on to our next book club book, which I'm very excited for. It's going to be The Women by Kristen Hanna.
Kristen Hanna.
Our girl. Love her.
I can't wait to ball.
Yeah. Hit me in my heart. Stab me with the knife and twist it, Kristen. I'm ready.
One of our friends, Madison, she told me that someone recommended The Nightingale, and she was like, but I don't want to cry. And I was like, you do. Yeah. She was like, I don't think I can read something without romance. And I was like, there is. I was like, please read it. But so just to give you guys a sneak peek, this is the summary or
the book description.
The book description. Thank you. Just to give you guys the book description, here is The Women by Kristen Hanna. Women can be heroes. When 20-year-old nursing student Frankie McGrath hears these words, it is a revelation. Raised in the sun-drenched idyllic world of Southern California and sheltered by her conservative parents, she has always prided herself on doing the right thing. But in 1965, the world is changing, and she suddenly dares to imagine a different future for herself. When her brother ships out to serve in Vietnam, she joins the Army Nurse Corps and follows his path. As green and inexperienced as the men sent to Vietnam to fight, Frankie is overwhelmed by the chaos and destruction of war. Each day is a gamble of life and death, hope and betrayal. Friendships run deep and can be shattered in an instant. In war, she meets and becomes one of the lucky, the brave, the broken, and the lost. But war is just the beginning for Frankie and her veteran friends. The real battle lies in coming home to a changed and divided America, to angry protesters, and to a country that wants to forget Vietnam. The Women is the story of one woman gone to war, but it shines a light on all women who put themselves in harm's way and whose sacrifice and commitment to their country has too often been forgotten. A novel about deep friendships and bold patriotism, The Women is a richly drawn story with a memorable heroine whose idealism and courage under fire will come to define an era.
Oh, I already know this is going to hit me so hard in my feels.
So hard.
I'm so ready, but
Bring
I'm also
the tissues.
scared.
Yeah.
If you want to hear our early thoughts and opinions on this book, join us on Fable at Lazy Girl Library. There, come connect with us. We'd love to get to know you, to talk with you about this book early, and
React
just
with us in live time.
Yeah, let's connect. Let's do it. If you don't join us on Fable, you will have to wait for our next book talk at the end of March.
Yes, and keep up with us on Lazy Girl Library Instagram and at lazygirllibrary.com.
Yes. We really just want to connect with all of you. Seeing earlier, like, all of the engagement that we've been getting as far as listens are concerned is crazy. And so it's really cool to see that we have so many international listeners. And we just really would love to get to know you all and talk with you. But I understand if you don't want to. That's fine, because I'm a silent listener for a lot of things too. But we appreciate you being here nonetheless.
We're so thankful for you. And before we wrap up all of our thanks and gratitude, we can't leave without doing our borrows and returns. So let me know, Michaela.
All right.
What are you borrowing? What are you returning?
I feel weird starting this time. Normally I'm always like, Darby starts.
Actually, yeah, this is different.
This is bizarre.
Start us off.
All right. I don't have anything really. I did finish Caraval by Stephanie Garber.
Yes.
That was a 4-star for me. I thoroughly enjoyed the book. I really appreciated the fresh take on a fantasy. And I don't know, it was just like, it was different and it was really good.
Different.
It definitely, like, it had some of the YA shine through, I think, towards the end. I think the last part of it kind of got real rushed for me, and where I'm like, there's so many plot twists that I don't even know where to look. Yeah. But it was definitely really intriguing, and I'm really excited to finish the series. We'll see how far I get before the wedding, because that will kind of hinder my reading a little bit here, my free time. But I'm going to try. And yeah, so that was my only return. And
I'm so glad you liked it.
Thanks. And thanks for the recommendation.
Oh my gosh.
And
You're welcome.
For borrows, it's just The Women by Kristen Hanna. I'm ready to be hurt.
I'm ready to be hurt.
What about you, Darby?
Well, for my returns, it's just Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. So just finish that one. For borrows, I'm reading... I didn't write it down. I'm reading Unfortunately Yours by Tessa Bailey. And then also I'm still working through Red Rising by Pierce Brown. So I started it at the end of January, and then I took a break to read the book club book, because I wasn't necessarily in a sci-fi headspace, but we're back in it, and it took me a second to get into the world building of Red Rising, but now that we're here, it's pretty good, and it's interesting. I'm liking it. So yeah, I think I'm a little over 60% of the way through, so I'm hoping to finish that one soon. Maybe by the end of February. I have a couple more days, but those are my borrows.
Nice. Yeah, that one's on my list. I've heard really good things. I'm glad that it started picking up for you.
Yeah, I had some mixed reviews. I saw a lot of people really liked it, but then I had some people that were very much not fans. So I'm feeling in the middle. I don't know. We'll see. I still have much more. I still have more to go. But that was this month's book talk. Like we said just a couple seconds ago, we're so grateful for you for listening. Whether you silently listen, whether you leave us messages or reviews, we're thankful for you, and just glad that you like hearing us talk, because I like yapping.
I love yapping with you, Darby.
Yay! All right, well, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye. Well, dear listeners, we find ourselves at the end of another episode. And remember, the Lazy Girl Library is not just a podcast, it's a community. We absolutely love hearing from fellow book lovers, so don't forget to share your thoughts and your favorite reads with us on our social media. You can find us on Instagram at Lazy Girl Library. Make sure to check out our website, lazygirllibrary.com, your one-stop shop for all things Lazy Girl. Before we go, we want to take a moment to thank all of our wonderful listeners. Whether you're listening from your cozy bed, on your way to work, or anywhere in between, thank you for making us a part of your day and for being a part of our Lazy Girl family. So keep those pages turning, keep those imaginations flourishing, and remember, the best stories are yet to be discovered. Until next time, stay lazy and happy reading.